Well, he is the man behind the lens. Pete Souza is the official photographer for President Obama, and he has captured all of the history of this White House for the past 6 years with the click of his camera. Every year, Souza releases the best of his collection, and 2014's pics give us an intimate look back at a year filled with new challenges at home and abroad. Pete Souza is with me now from Honolulu, where the president is vacationing. Pete, thanks so much for joining me this afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Pete, it was hard for us to choose amongst your pictures because there are so many great ones, but we want to start with one that you captured back in August. Shows President Obama on the beach in Newport, Rhode Island. And just the setup to this is that you had actually placed a bet with some of the staffers that President Obama was going to get off of Air Force One and go directly over to the beach and do exactly this, just stare out into the ocean. How did you know that, and how much is knowing the man, understanding who President Obama is, an integral part of doing your job?
Well, I think that's a big part of my job. This was actually, he had gotten off the helicopter and the motorcade was set up on the road. And, you know, here's this beautiful scene, an ocean in Newport, the sun's going down. I mean, I just could tell that this is something that he would do, walk across the road right past the motorcade and go down to the water's edge.
And another one that we thought was just incredible that has gotten a lot of attention was captured when President Obama met with young civil rights leaders in the Oval Office. You have the portrait of former President Abraham Lincoln, and then, of course, the bust of Martin Luther King. How much did you prepare for this photo, Pete? What's the backstory?
Well, the backstory is this was a meeting that he had with these young civil rights leaders, many who had protested in Ferguson. And throughout the meeting, which lasted more than an hour, I was trying to incorporate the bust of MLK into the background, and it just wasn't working because of where they were seated on the sofas. But as the meeting broke up, they paused for a moment off to the side, as you can see, and it was at that point that I went down low and framed the bust in the foreground.
And so you presumably had taken a number of pictures already, but this was really the one that you were going for, right?
Well, I didn't know that this would actually happen, where they would pause before walking out the door. But, you know, and I was cognizant of the MLK bust, as I am with all the historical artifacts in the White House, trying to incorporate them into my pictures.
One theme certainly from this year, but really every year, is the president meeting with kids. And one of our favorites was the president meeting with a Girl Scout troop this year from Oklahoma. It's a posed photo, but you decided to include it. Obviously, this is unique because President Obama placed this tiara on his head. Why did you decide to include this photo?
You know, I just thought it showed a very human side of him. He's just has a lot of fun with babies and young kids, and I think he just got caught up in the moment that, well, if they're wearing their tiaras, he's going to wear one too. And they asked him to do it, and he went along.
Was there a lot of urging? Can you take us behind the scenes a little bit there?
There was not much urging at all. I think he said something like, you know, this picture is just for us. So, you know, now it's being shared with everyone.
Well, one of the president's most important meetings this year, most memorable historic meetings, was with Pope Francis back in March. You captured that moment from the Vatican. Talk to us a little bit about how you blend in these moments, Pete, that are so huge historically, and yet you manage to capture them. I know that you've said that you use a no-flash silent camera. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, I just think it's important not to disrupt what he's doing. So the camera is on a quiet mode. I don't use flash, and also it's helpful that after 6 years, people are used to me being around. So, you know, I just do try to blend in as much as I can.
Is a moment of that magnitude daunting at all when the president's meeting with the Pope, or are you used to it at this point? You also took pictures for former President Ronald Reagan.
No, I think I am cognizant always of the historic nature of some of the meetings that I'm covering, including with Pope Francis. So I think I'm always aware of the historical nature of what I'm doing.
Yeah. And you also captured this great shot of President Obama in the Oval Office trying to swat a fly. His aides are around him, sort of breaking up, laughing. These candid moments, you talked about humanizing him with the kids, but this is also a part of it. How do you sort of prepare for these candid moments? Do you ever miss them?
The ones that I miss, I won't talk about because I didn't capture them. But this was, just before a meeting, and there was this fly buzzing around that was bothering him. It was funny, the other day there was a spider in the Oval Office, and one of his aides wanted to swat it with a magazine, and he said, well, that spider's not invading my space. A fly invades my space, so it's okay to swat it.
There's another photo that you took on a Saturday. This is President Obama. He's a little bit more casual. He's in the Oval Office. He's preparing for a phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. And it strikes me, Pete, a lot of people don't know the president's never off the clock, but you're really never off the clock either. I mean, talk a little bit about that aspect of what you do.
Well, I mean, I take very seriously what I do in terms of documenting his presidency. So that does mean working weekends, and here I am on his vacation. There's aspects of his presidency to cover while we're in Hawaii, and and he does work a lot on the weekend. Comes into the Oval Office, and that's when he usually is casually dressed. Usually weekends is no suit, coat, and tie.
And Pete, just what has been the most extraordinary part of your work for you? Is there one moment, or is it every moment?
Well, I always tell people that the most important moment will be the moment I capture tomorrow. I mean, I think that's what keeps me going, is you just never know what's going to happen. And I'm always, ready, hopefully, to capture the moment. So hopefully, maybe today or tomorrow, there'll be a key moment to capture.
All right, Pete Souza joining us from Honolulu. Thank you so much for getting up early so that we could share some of your great pictures with everyone. We really appreciate it.
Thanks very much.
Well, we had a hard time choosing which photos to use for this segment, so as we go to break, we're going to show you a little bit more of what made Pete Souza's cut as the top photos of 2014. We'll be right back, everyone. Stay with us.